I'm going to talk about anamorphic art and its use in the portrait called Ambassadors and the artist Holbein. I will also introduce 4 other artists that have found their own way to incorporate the anamorphic technique in their own works. The first question that I'm going to be answering is, what do you think Holbein was trying to achieve with the anamorphic feature of this portrait? When I looked up the definition of anamorphic art, the textbook definition of it is a perspective technique that gives a distorted image of the subject represented in a picture when seen from the usual viewpoint, but so executed that if viewed from a particular angle or reflected in a curved mirror, the distortion disappears. This is basically saying that anamorphic art is a technique where someone will create an object or an image and they'll draw it in a certain distortion or angle, so that way when you look at it, it doesn't quite look like what it's supposed to be. But if you look at it from a different angle, or you look at it through a mirror that's curved, it shows you what it was meant to be. Like in the portrait, there's a skull in the focal point of the picture on the floor, and it's in a diagonal angle almost stretched across the painting. But then if you stand towards this corner of the painting on the side and you view it from a side angle, it shows you the skull as it's meant to be, like a human skull. I did a little research and I found out that the artist Tommaso Loretti was credited with being the originator for the anamorphic art technique. I think that Holbein did a great job of incorporating the anamorphic art into his portrait. After watching the video about his portrait, I felt that he was trying to tell 2 stories of what was going on in Europe at the time, because there was a lot of suffering with the country. But at the same time, he didn't want to just outwardly paint a picture that only showed the dark side of what was happening. He wanted to show the light and the dark contrasting in one. The next question that I'm going to be answering is, how do the artists, including Rauschenberg, Griesbach, Holzer, and Gonzalez Day, create an experience of changing anamorphic art into their own expressive way? With Rauschenberg, the artist is considered to be a contemporary artist, which is the art of the 21st and 20th century. He took everyday items and integrated them into his paintings, and most of his pictures that I saw looked like collages. They made me think that he was trying to tell a story with the items that he put together on there. The next artist, Griesbach, does oil paintings in a Flemish style, and a majority of her paintings contain animals with famous buildings like the Eiffel Tower and the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And she also has different landscapes in there. Holzer's main medium is that she uses texts or images of text for hers, and I feel like she's trying to convey a deeper meaning, but with a simple art form with just one word or a couple of words. Gonzalez Day uses his platform to give people a closer look into the history of race and racial injustice. And I think that all of those artists tried to find a way to use anamorphic art in their art and try to figure out a way to tell more than one story with the pieces that they created. They each figured out their own way, their own unique form of anamorphic art that allowed them to show people deeper meanings than just what was on the surface of the picture or their structure. I see this as the common thread between the artists of the 1500s and the contemporary artists. Both of them found a way to talk about the important events that were happening in their times and in their societies without actually having to tell people straight out what was going on. As far as the portrait itself of the ambassadors, I really enjoyed all of the detail that he put into the portrait. I think that there was a lot of hidden meanings behind some of the objects that were there. And overall, I thought that it was just a really nice painting. Felt like you could go in and touch it.